podcast show.
Hi everybody, this is Rich Myers, and welcome to the Rich Myers podcast show. And today I got Eddy DelMonico.
Hey, DelMonico.
DelMonico. Okay.
Yes.
I listened to your track, The Booze Don't Bury Me. I thought it was awesome.
Thank you.
What influenced it?
Well, all my life experiences with women that took me to the cleaners in one way or another. How's that sound?
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Well, I think most men could relate to that song pretty well, actually.
Okay. Well, let's take a listen to it.
Okay.
Well, this life sometimes it'll kick you right in the teeth. I swear it don't care, it'll knock you right off your feet. Get on a streak, then I'm feeling hot. Life is good, or so I thought. Then a woman comes around and takes me down for everything I got. I had a pretty little lady, she was my baby. I was happy as I'd ever been. I fell in love, then she messed me up real bad. Now she's gone with the wind. I tell you, man, the booze didn't bury me, but the women did. I've been down for crimes and misdemeanors, but I still got out. Well, old Willie took me to the cleaners, don't ask me how. I get to thinking with the wrong head, and then I'd end up in the wrong bed. Then my whole damn life's just hanging by a thread. Oh, I had a pretty little lady, she was my baby. I was happy as I'd ever been. I fell in love, then she messed me up real bad. Now she's gone with the wind. I tell you, man, the booze didn't bury me, but the women did. I tried again 10 times, but each time I find she just took me down anyway. Oh, well, he's still causing me trouble to this very day. Man, oh man, I had a pretty little lady, she was my baby. I was happy as I'd ever been. I fell in love, then she messed me up real bad. Now she's gone with the wind. I tell you, man, the booze didn't bury me, but the women did. Man, the booze didn't bury me, but the women did. They really did. Man, the booze didn't bury me, but the women did.
You don't hear music like that anymore.
Well, it's pretty country. It's very original country. It's like old school country.
Yeah, I listened to some of the rest of the album, and I felt like I was in the 1950s. It was like the 50s tunes.
Well, good. I mean, I hope everybody likes it. I mean, I think that seems like music's more and more going back to that style again, I believe.
Yeah, pretty good music back in.
Thanks. I liked it very much. Yeah, I grew up during that time.
Yeah, I grew up in the '60s.
Me too.
um, can you tell me about upcoming songs, concerts, and what's next?
Well, I don't have any concerts. I've never performed live yet. However, I have been asked to sing at the Grand Ole Opry for Sunday Country Morning at the Opry. So I'll be doing that in June, and I'll be going to Nashville 3 days ahead of time for rehearsals. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing who I can meet, who I can participate in the choir with. And again, that's going to be a real experience. And I only just got into recording in the last 18 months. I never recorded in my life before.
Wow.
And I just decided to walk into the record studio, and I played a couple of my songs, and then I got together with the producer, and we created the first 10 songs were original that I wrote, and then the next 7 on the are covers that I've done.
Okay. Describe your creative process. How are you?
Well, most of it on the original songs was based on I was very sensitive and always falling in love with the girls I dated and so on. And so I always was very emotional, and the emotions drove me to write songs about it. Some of them, were short-lived romances, others were long-term, but they triggered an emotional response in me, which I translated into music. And that's what I did.
Okay. Would you agree that it is very important to learn, study, and understand old music and music history?
Absolutely. I think that the roots of music, especially whether it be country or rock and roll or even some contemporary music, it's all steeped in rhythm, blues, I would say gospel music, actually, from going way back when. And it all worked its way up, just like in the early days of the transitional time of when Elvis came on the scene. As you probably know, Little Richard and many of the black artists who were doing rock and roll back then, or the beginnings of rock and roll, it came out of gospel. And then Elvis, who was also involved with the black community and gospel music at the time, then he lifted that into a whole nother genre, which became the history and the period of rock and roll. So I think that's very important to understand the roots of where all this music has come from.
Okay. What do you enjoy the most about being a performer?
Well, you mean, I'm sorry, the songs or the music?
Well, when you get out to perform or something like that.
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't again performed, but I do sing for people. I think because my songs are very emotional, I think they could really feel the emotions translate through the songs. And that's a really hard thing to do nowadays, to get people to listen to the emotion in the song. And, if you could do that, you reach the person, because every person has a unique connection to something in their life that triggered an emotion like that. And I think that's the key.
Okay. Do you come from a musical background or?
No, I really don't. I grew up in Long Island, New York, believe it or not. And but I listened to all the young rock and roll guys of the late 50s and the early 60s, guys like Ricky Nelson, like Dion from Dion and the Belmonts, like Elvis, like Roy Orbison, like Bobby Rydell, and most recently, of course, Johnny Tillotson, who just passed away. He was a country artist that wrote a lot of good songs. And so I grew up with all those artists from the late 50s and the early 60s. And I considered that real music. You could hear it. It had an emotion to it. So I kind of grabbed onto that way of doing things. And that's kind of what I like.
Yeah, I could hear that in your album.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Where can people go and see your videos, music, and events?
Well, my website is Eddy, EDDY, DelMonico.com. Again, that's Eddy, EDDY, DelMonico.com. You can go there for the music. And the video, my most recent music video, is online in multiple places. I don't know where. It's on the web someplace. And right now, again, I have any performances. I have nothing scheduled other than the fact that I'm going on to the Grand Ole Opry on June 8th, and I'm hoping that whole experience leads to some kind of a connection with either a record label, a producer, or somebody that takes an interest that wants to promote me as an artist. And then from there, perhaps I would be going on a tour or something like that. So I'm hopeful that's what that'll generate once I do that.
Okay. What do you do besides music?
Well, actually, I work in the environmental field that I've been in for 35 years. It's kind of boring. It's hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste, and things regarding the environment. So I actually have a full-time job doing that. But on the side, of course, I write songs and I make music up, and I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if I have an idea for a song, and I strum it on the guitar, and then I kind of jot it down, and then we create a song out of it. So it's a process like that. But I'm always thinking about songs. I'm always listening for new tunes.
Okay. Oh, well, thanks for being on the show today. I enjoyed having you.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for listening. And please let me know if anybody'd like me to come back, or you'd like to know more about me. I'd be happy to come back on and tell more people about it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much, Rick. Appreciate it very much.